There
zone,
you go.
zone.
There go to Dick. There go to Pac Jam. Hey man, we wanted to first of all say welcome back, Pac Jam. We ain't heard from you with NMIA since Saturday night. What you mean?
Which is what? Which part? Well, yeah, he should be over. Yeah, yeah, I did see something that they said Derek Harper was upset. But hold on, hold on, hold on, real quick. We gonna hold on.
No, we
First of
watched
all,
it. Listen,
we will welcome this unapologetic sports. We're gonna wrap up the finals. Me, myself, Graham Roberts, my co-host Chucky Atkins, and we brought in the one and only Pac Jam to get some perspective on what
Pac
happened.
Jam.
So finish what you go ahead, go back to what you're saying, and I agree with you. I did hear that they were saying he was upset, but no, I remember you said it. I remember you said it. Well, I will also I will also say. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Pac, but I will say too, when it comes down to the obviously to the business side of it, they're paying one dude some millions of dollars to play and another dude a couple 100,000. They're not going to have a guy that they're paying all this money to sitting on the bench. I get what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, but finances play a part in it too because they're playing this guy to do a certain role and they want to get their money's worth out of this guy. But even though you mentioned those two, even though you mentioned those two examples, that's the minority. That's not the majority. Hey, they roll with the girl that got them there. They went. That's how they got to that point. That's what they roll with. Because all I'm hearing, I mean, honestly, even though if all that being said, all I'm hearing is excuses. They got their ass what 4-1. So
So, well, hey, look, and to add on to that, two of those games they were up. They were up with the ball with 12 seconds left to go in the game.
but I think some of the reasons why they lost is just inexperience and youth. They got out coached and they were
Well,
young. They made young mistakes.
well, the when you in the finals, man, you don't no one individual loses the finals. Like we got here as a team, we lost it as a team. It wasn't just Mitch Johnson making bad decisions. It wasn't just the players, one player taking bad shots. Everybody had something to do with them guys losing. To me, the difference in the series was the fact that the San Antonio Spurs throughout the whole time, even every time they got a lead, they never was able to finish quarters off well. They were never able to finish the games off well in the fourth quarter. Bronson was the overall difference. The New York Knicks had a closer, the San Antonio Spurs didn't. So, you know, however you want to divvy it up, that was really the difference in the series, in my opinion. The MVP, the captain of the New York Knicks, put the team on his back at the moments when they needed it the most, when they were down 29, when they were down 10 in game five. He got his act together and put those guys on his back and carried them across the finish line. Whereas the San Antonio Spurs guys were looking, they were searching. They wanted it to be De'Aaron Fox, but he just didn't have it in this particular series. I don't think that he's a bad player. He just had a bad series, right? But from a coaching standpoint, man, you never know when you're gonna be back to the finals again. It's one thing for us to say, yeah, man, the San Antonio Spurs, they have a bright future ahead of them and they're gonna win a lot of championships. But the fact of the matter is, anything can happen throughout the course of a season. Guys get injured. Hey, you know, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder this past season. They had everybody hurt in their team at one point in time throughout the course of the season, which allowed them, which hurt them from a chemistry standpoint, which ultimately led to their demise against the San Antonio Spurs. So you could say, hey, yeah, they're gonna be there every year, but that's not necessarily true. They had an opportunity. They had an opportunity to win it this year. They should have played Dylan Harper a lot more. It was two games, like I said, that they had the lead and the ball with under 12 seconds to go. And in those games, Dylan Harper didn't even play in the fourth quarter a lot of minutes, and he was hot in those games. So, of course, I would always blame the coach from that perspective. But there were opportunities when they were up 29, they were coming down taking quick shots, long distance shots. It wasn't just one person. All five of those guys that were out there on the court was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Now, from a player's perspective, you got to take your ownership in the part that you played. And from the coaching perspective, like you said, hey, man, should have called a timeout. Hey, guys, we up 29. Let's settle this thing down. We don't need to take those long shots right now. What we need to do is we need to move the ball from side to side. Let's run some clock. We're gonna get those same shots that we hoisting up with 15 seconds ago. We can hoist them things up as a shot clock flaw. And if you happen to, hey, look, really, we don't really need no threes. It ain't on us to come. It ain't on us to have to come back. They need to come back. We just need to play solid, good basketball and get stops. And that's where they made mistakes at.
Yeah, they played. They was actually down, taking quick shots, bad shots, and they was the team that was winning.
And from my liking, I didn't see them use the 6 man of the year as much as they did in the previous series. Like I think that he could have helped them out a little bit more. I also think that hey, they could have played Cornette and Wemby a lot because, like I said in game 3 and 4. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think Johnson didn't play a lot too because he was shooting bad in the finals. He only was averaging 4 points a game. I think he wasn't hitting, and I think that's his main thing is
Yeah,
shooting the ball, and he had a bad series.
yeah, sometimes it becomes more than just shooting and making shots. Like New York made an adjustment, right? Every team. Wemby's out there on the basketball court. He's 7'5". He's a force in the paint. He's the tallest thing out there, right? New York made the adjustment of saying, you know what, we're gonna run a lot of pick and rolls with whoever Wemby's guarding because we know that the San Antonio Spurs is gonna switch. Now, especially if Brunson has the ball and they're running a pick and roll with Wemby's man and they're going to switch, you got a 7'5" defender that has to stretch and come outside the 3-point line to defend our number one option, right? Now you got a guard, you got a 7'5" guard, 7'5" big man that's a force outside of the paint. For the life of me, I didn't understand why they didn't play any one of the other bigs and Wemby together, right? Because once you bring Wemby out on the perimeter, all you really got to do is just get the shot off. As long as he don't block the shot off, and then Karl Anthony Towns becomes the biggest guy
On the
by the
perimeter.
rim,
Yep.
right? And then they went small, and then they went smaller, right? And then that's when OG started getting all the rebounds. So yes, that was coaching, but there were a lot of other things that went on that I wouldn't necessarily say was coaching. I mean, guys missing free throws.
Yeah,
Like we didn't see
Wemby
San
missed
Antonio.
too.
We didn't see San Antonio
No.
missing free throws against the Oklahoma City Thunder, but for some reason, you get in the New York Knicks series and things get a little tight after you keep losing leads, and guys minds start wondering on them. They start, doubt sneaks in. And anytime doubt sneak in, you start making mistakes. Fatigue also played a part in it, right? We don't know how tired those guys were. The New York Knicks had been sitting home for a while. San Antonio Spurs had just went through a barroom brawl with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we don't know, where those guys stand. I think that they learned a valuable lesson going forward. And I think that they will be better because of it in the future.
Yeah, there'll be a lesson learned. Everybody be a year older because I think they're the youngest team to even get to the finals in NBA history. So they barring any injury, barring anybody getting traded or anything like that, they should start off next year.
Yeah.
Have start off a good year.
And right now, everybody, they'll go back and they'll watch the film. They'll reevaluate their roster because obviously everybody's starting to make roster changes and roster moves. But the San Antonio Spurs definitely have to find a closer. I think Victor Wemby has to
Get
develop a
stronger.
signature.
You got to get stronger. Well, I think now with this ring, I think he definitely would have been between him or Frazier. I don't think. I think the talk has been more either him or Walt Frazier because Walt Frazier got that. Obviously he got them their last ring, and I think the last game he scored 40 in the last game of the finals when he won his ring.
Listen. Don't get this twisted. The greatest New York Knick ever is still Walt Clyde Frazier. Yeah. No, it's definitely not Patrick. No, it's not. No, it's not Patrick Ewing. No. Wow.
Now, who's the greatest Hoya? I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Who's the greatest Hoya? I'm asking. 'Cause I mean,
He wants. He
they
wanted. He
warning.
finna say Pat Jam finna say Allen Iverson, the answer.
Who? Heck yeah. It ain't Iverson. You don't understand. Do you know how dominant that boy was back in college? Big and when he played, the Big East was the Big East. Wouldn't know what Iverson. That's when all the big boys were in the Big East back then. Matter of fact, when he played in the Big East, they were the only conference. They had 6 fouls, bro. The Big East back then, St. John's and all them boys, man, you crazy. Iverson, as good as Iverson was, not even close, bro. Not even close. Hey, cry me a river. He still was bad, and every team went there to stop him and couldn't do it. Man, you crazy. You smoking rocks, man. Come on, man. It's not even close. Ain't even close. Not even close. Pat, you don't realize how dominant that boy was in Georgetown. Huh? Well, you're just bitter. That's all right. Ain't
Hey,
no
look,
we talking about Georgetown. Ain't none of them boys more dominant than him. Hell, he probably ain't even dominant wasn't even probably dominant than Alonzo Mourning either. Alonzo was held there. You better go back. You better go back and look back at you better go back and look at the Big East when them Hoyas was running things back then with John Thompson. And go back and look at the Hoyas back then when they was playing. Because what you talking right now is foolery. Ain't no way the Iverson teams was good compared to them. Not even close. Patrick Ewing was dominant, dominant. Probably one of the most dominant players to play in college. I'm telling you, you may go back and go back and look at them Hoya games. Go back and look at them Hoya games. Man, the Big East and Iverson, they was not even comparable to when Patrick them played. Not even close. Not even close, bro. Well, you ain't gotta agree if it is true. You ain't gotta agree if it. Go back and look.
all right. So let me ask you guys this question, right? If you're the San Antonio Spurs right now, and just say, for instance, you don't make any roster moves, what do you do going forward with your young guys?
If you if you keep De'Aaron Fox, he has to start. And I'm saying that because you're not putting him on the bench making $37 million a year. And then next year, then next year, his next year contract comes in, he be making like $40 million a year. You're not putting that dude on the bench. You're not. You either have to start him or trade him, huh? Right. You're right. So you're not putting the dude making that money on the bench. You might as well let's trade him. Well, let's see. But how many years he has left? What does he have? He's on a what 4-year deal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he can't. So really, he ain't got no. He'll stay there until his last 2 years, right? But he's on the first year. What I'm saying is, Pac, he's a rookie, so he still has 3 more years. So they could still sit him and bring him off, and then his last 2 years, put him in and still get these 2 years out of De'Aaron Fox. That's what I'm saying because he can't. He's not gonna ask to leave after his rookie year. So really, he has no. He has at least three. He has really two, maybe three that they could sit him and come off the bench. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. They either keep him and start him, or they have to trade him, get him out of there, and put Dylan in. But they could demand it. But then he's not going after his rookie year. He's not. They're not. I understand what you're saying, but he ain't going nowhere after his rookie year. They're gonna be like, nah, bro. What they going? Yeah, because you can't. You're not gonna put a guy on the bench making $50 million a year. You're just not. That doesn't even make any sense. But you can because he's a rookie and he ain't getting and he ain't making that much. Just remember, it ain't about how you. It ain't how you start. It's how you finish. Because they could start Fox and let Harper
But
finish.
but but
No, that's not what I said. That's not what you. That's not what I said. But no, don't Pack. You didn't listen to me. I said specifically said before I started talking. I said you either have to start him because of what he makes, or you have to get rid of him. You can't. But now, having said that, he's on a rookie contract. They can sit here and say, Fox, we're going to rival you for the next 2 years. Dylan, you ain't going nowhere. You on a rookie contract. We ain't trading you. You can make all that noise on your back. Listen to what I'm saying. You can make all that noise all you want to. You ain't, at least until your last 2 years, you ain't going nowhere. Because then, but usually those cancers were like your big player. He ain't that big. Usually it's like your James Hardens. It's like your James Hardens and them. It ain't no rookie. They ain't gonna do that for no rookie. Talking about, oh yeah, it's a cancer. All right, he ain't making that type of money to make that type of power play. But again, they're either gonna keep Fox and he come off the bench, or they have to trade him. There's no way they're gonna keep him and have Dylan Harper start. It's not gonna happen.
okay, so if you trade him right now, based on the way their roster set up, who do you trade him for? That's gonna make $50 million a year.
But then again, but it's hard to really say. But then, okay, let's just hypothetically speak. What type of player would they bring back? Another point or two? Or the tall dude. I know you're talking about. I think I know you're talking about. Yeah. I can't remember his name. Top of my head right now.
Well, I don't think he's gonna be down there full time. I just think he need to be down there a little more than he is. Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay.
But I mean, it's hard to say because you're looking at because of what happened in the playoffs. But I will say this too: now that people know who he is, teams are going to gameplay against him differently. Because again, he's a rookie. No, he's a rookie. So their main focus was 7-5. Now they're saying, okay, this dude Harper is he looked like he could be a problem. Teams are going to make adjustments. They're going to make
Yeah,
a. You have to.
but here's my rebuttal to that. Right? Again, like we spoke earlier, San Antonio is gonna have to find somebody, whether they go out and they go make a trade or they develop within house with what they already have on their roster. Right? Either way, they're gonna have to find somebody that's gonna be the heir apparent to Wemby, quote unquote, a closer. Right? For me, for my liking. I think that Dylan Harper can be that guy. You use next year's season, the 82 game season, to allow him to spread his wings. Hey, Dylan, we're gonna give you the fluorescent green light. You're our Kobe Bryant to Wemby right now. And during the regular season, you put him in positions, you put him in scenarios to where when the game is on the line, okay, hey, for the next 2 or 3 minutes, we're gonna go with Dylan. You still got Wemby. They can switch off games. One game you go to Wemby, one game depending on who got it going on that night. But that way you use the regular season as the rehearsal for the postseason so that when the game is on the line, you know you got two closers, Wemby and Dylan Harper. Right? That's kind of what I would do if I was within the San Antonio Spurs management because they got the roster to win the championship. Like those guys, I mean, think about it. Their first time being in the finals, they got a double digit lead in every single game, right? They squandered it away. Okay, cool. That probably won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? I think that these guys are smart enough basketball players to get better from the mistakes that they've made. Um, You got De'Aaron Fox who's making 200 and some $1 million, man. Like, I get it. Y'all guys are absolutely right. He's not gonna come off the bench. Nor should he. Cause somebody thought that he was good enough to pay 220 something million. They ain't finna let that come off the bench. So, I understand that Mitch Johnson may have had that to deal with, but sometimes throughout the process of this thing, you gotta go with what's getting it done. Too many games in this past series, you allowed Dylan Harper to sit over there and vanish when he was cooking, right? That I didn't understand. But hey, going forward, that's something that Mitch Johnson got to get. Like all of those guys have to improve, not only just the players.
I'll tell you this for them to have beaten like they were. This is one of the strangest finals I've seen. You
What do
would
you
have
mean?
thought the way the battling was so much that this would have been like a 7 game series. I mean, these games are tough games. The Spurs get up, the Knicks come back. You would think, damn, they played 7 games. To see that it was so hard fought and it was 4-1, it's like it's still hard to believe that they won 4-1, given how hard these games were. For them to fight back and then go back and forth, I would have to give that. It was a good series for it to be a gentleman sweep. This is probably one of the best gentleman sweeps I've ever seen,
Oh,
bro. Because it was a hard fought
it
game,
was, it was, it was, it was. I mean, it was an odd finals, right? And
very very odd final.
when you look at the numbers and the analytics of it, I think out of the 5 games, I think the New York Knicks may have led for only like 30 minutes
Yeah, they think it was like
or
28
20
minutes.
or like 20 something minutes, right?
Yeah,
That's like the San Antonio Spurs. It's almost like watching a football game and you go, "Hey man, we've won in every statistical category there is to win in except for the scoreboard."
it's crazy. You'd be like, how did that happen?
Right? Like most of the time that doesn't happen, but when you playing against an experienced team like like Jalen like Jalen Brunson said, "Hey man, listen, it seems as though we don't start playing until 30
30
minutes after the game
minutes.
time."
Yeah,
What I like about it when I watch the New York Knicks is they never wavered. They never There wasn't no timeouts where they was in the timeouts screaming and hollering at each other. It was almost like, hey man, regardless of how many points these guys go up, we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna win. And that's what it looked like.
yeah. I agree. Now calling timeouts as the coach. I mean, they can make another run, but just got to also remember everybody else is going to get better too. Yeah, they might have. They're talking about getting rid of.
That's the league though, right? Yeah, it's no differently than what San Antonio did last year. Hey man, in order for us to get through in order for us to win a championship, we got to go through Oklahoma City. So what they do, they go fix their maneuver their roster to be able to battle against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it worked out brilliantly for them this year, right? But here's how things switch. So now every team in the West is saying, "Hey, listen, we got to get our roster to compete against the San Antonio Spurs because in order for us to get to the finals, we got to go through them." So now you got teams maneuvering, making moves, and now San Antonio Spurs go from being the hunters to the hunted because they're gonna get everybody best game next year.
Everybody's.
Can they stay healthy, right? And can they make the adjustments that's needed to be made in order for them to get to the next level, which for them is the championship. Like that's the craziest thing. You come into the league as a rookie, your first year you're in the finals, right? That's the ultimate goal. Well, the ultimate goal is to win it all. But your first year you get to the finals. Can you repeat that next season? Do you have it within you to do that? After you finna get everybody's best game, we'll see.
And that's one thing I want to give props to Mike Brown because he came into a tough situation. Thibodeau was there last year. They got to the
Yeah.
game before the finals. So the pressure, I'm talking about the pressure of you can't fall short than the finals because you just came into a
Well,
situation where they was a game from the finals.
well, well, here's the thing, man. Mike Brown was a perfect guy for that situation.
Yeah, but I want to give him props for what he's able
Right?
to,
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
he was able to extract.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mike Brown for sure. That brother been forged by fire. He went to Cleveland and they were winning games and he had LeBron James and they was winning the East and he was the all-star games, head coach for the Eastern Conference. He left there and went to the Lakers and didn't necessarily do what they thought he was going to do with the Lakers. So, then he went to the Golden State Warriors where he played a pivotal part in them winning championships and being a part of their coaching staff. So they actually picked the perfect person to go in there. He's dealt with the media in LA, so it ain't like it was gonna be overwhelming for him in New York. He already had a good team, because they had lost in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before, right?
And he
And
dealt with
his
superstars too.
and he dealt with superstars before, so he was the perfect person. And due to all of his experiences, he was able to bring it to New York at a time when they needed that type of leadership the most and get those guys over the finish line. So shout out to Mike Brown for sure for doing what he did because he was very, very deserving and he was the perfect person. Not only just shout out to Mike Brown, but you know, Worldwide West and those guys, they did a hell of a job of bringing those guys in and creating a culture that was allowing those guys to get along and do what they did to win the championship. So again, just like when you lose, everybody's playing a part in it. When you win, everybody's playing a part in it. Same thing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Mike Brown. Yeah, I'm glad because it's kind of a for him 360 because when he first went to the finals with LeBron and they got swept by the Spurs, and then he comes back
Right.
years later and beats them 4-1. So he kind of
Right.
gets that revenge too on that.
Which is dope. You know, Going forward with if you're a Knicks fan, like, what do you do with your roster? Because I don't know if you're going to be able to take that same roster and
Nah,
bring it back next year and win.
nope, nope.
So they got some decisions to make as well.
I mean, I'm looking at probably even though they love him, I'll see what I can get for Hart. Yeah.
Well, I was quite impressed with their bench. I'll be honest with you, their bench really surprised me um, because before the series even started, I actually gave the nod to the San Antonio Spurs as far as who had the better bench. But those first two games, in order that allowed those guys to jump out to the Knicks to jump out to a 2-0 lead and win both games in San Antonio, I think that the New York Knicks bench played extremely well. From McBride making shots, Shamit making shots. I think Alvarado came off the bench and pressed the tempo a lot. Mike Brown made a heck of a decision in game four that they came back from 29 down and brought Alvarado in and started him and played him next to Brunson, which allowed Brunson not to, he didn't have to fight the pressure in the backcourt. He was able to catch a breath and get the ball and operate in areas on offense when they moved into the two. That was a crucial coaching move that Mike Brown made. So, Alvarado coming off the bench, he played a critical part in those guys, winning the championship. So, I was kind of surprised that they played as well as they did. What type of changes do you make, Pac Jam?
Yeah, he needs some scoring off that bench.
Right. Yeah, Halliburton, Halliburton, them will be back. Jalen Duran.
But they gonna give it to him. But I haven't mentioned that because you mentioned the Celtics. They're already shopping Brown. And man, I ain't trying to go there with Kawhi. Man, that man, you talking about injury? Good lord.
Okay, so if you the Clippers, who you got that's gonna equal the amount of money that Jalen Brown is getting? You ain't finna get rid of Kawhi. You finna get rid of Kawhi?
Oh, you finna send Kawhi though?
Wow.
I mean, personally, I would get rid of him too. Personally,
Right.
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 But even though I agree with you 100% on that. But even to the player side, I get rid of him for the player side. Hell, he never available. He going to play what 40
He
games a
he was
year.
he was he was all star this year, Graham.
Right, Chubb, but think about it. You're talking about this year. What was he last year? What was the year before then? And now he's a year older. I'm not gonna spend this because once he gets to a certain point, you're gonna be stuck with his
Okay,
contract.
so let's do it in the reverse then. If you the Boston Celtics, do you want to take Kawhi?
So
Oh, the
he
Celtics
said
get
it's a three team.
Giannis.
It's a three team. It's a three team. Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
But crazy as it sounds, Miami is the top of. That's the place he wants to go first. No state taxes.
let's tell it. With Pat Jam, he gonna get the max. I don't give a damn where he go. Okay. Okay. Question. Okay, so let me ask this question then, because we used to always say this with Bron, right? Whatever team Bron go to when he was doing his thing, when he was in his prime, they were gonna be championship contenders, regardless of what they had on their team. Is Giannis not in that category?
Nah, I won't put him in that category.
Okay, so if you put Giannis on Miami's roster from this past year, you don't think that they get a chance to get to the championship?
Nah.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm yeah.
Okay. That happens. Oh, okay. Okay. That happens. That could happen. What about if you go? What about if you go to the Warriors? And look, and for the people, and, and for the people out there, the AmVets here in Orlando, where we live at, is a club where the elderly go, where the
Oh, the
older,
league goes.
older folks go.
It's still over there off of 50. It's still over there off of 50 behind that Foot Locker.
Yeah, it's still over there.
All right.
Okay. Hey, look. What if he go to Minnesota? Shit, you can have all that. Look, you can have all that shit, but Anthony Edwards over there. Hey, listen. Ant-Man, McDaniels, and Giannis. Absolutely, they untouchable. I wouldn't necessarily say a fire sale. I think that they want to get. I think they want to get. I think that you may see Julius Randle gone.
Well, I think Giannis though, if he's going to leave, he's going to go to. He wants to stay on the East because that West going to that. No, but I'm just saying as far as what I would not want to go to that gauntlet of the West where you got OKC, Spurs, all these teams that he's going to possibly have to contend with. If I know that's probably one of the reasons why he wants to stay on the East too. Right. And with them using that as their ploy, most likely it's going to work. Because I don't think no team will take that chance to get him. Say, okay, we'll give up everybody for him. Then after that year, he's
Really?
like, I'm out.
Hey, the Orlando Magic may be the only team with the best pieces to get Giannis.
Nah, I gotta agree with you on that one. I gotta agree with you on that.
Listen. Right now, they've done a really good job of constructing a roster. They just hired a new head coach that's going to bring in a new culture. And they may need, and they need to be shaken up a little bit. Giannis coming to Orlando might work. Well, one of them got to go. Either Franz or Tori. I think you, Pac Jam. I think you're wrong, Pac Jam. I think you're wrong, Pac Jam. Pac Jam. He went for 50. He went for 50 and they lost. Listen, let me say this. If you watch that series, Orlando went down when Franz got hurt and when they able to play no more. That's when they couldn't win another. They didn't win another game. They was up 3 games
They was up
to
three
1.
games.
They was up 3 games to 1, and Franz Wagner went down with a soreness in his calf. He ain't play another game in the series.
But he's got to take up the shots that Franz didn't have.
And he get a chance to get his rocks off when Franz ain't in there, baby. Listen, they didn't win another game. They didn't win another game after Franz went down with soreness in his calf. Pat. All I'm saying to you,
No, no. You good about
I
Paulo.
never said that.
Nobody
I
said
never
that.
said that. I didn't say that. I never said that. I said what? Okay, so right now, the team is built around Paulo. He was the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
But you're talking about it was deservingly so. But you're talking about right now that you got an opportunity to get Giannis. Do you want Giannis Antetokounmpo on your team, or do you want Paolo Banchero on your team? that ain't what I
That's not
said.
equal. They're not equal. They're not gonna give.
Okay. So you want front. So you want front. So you want Paolo Banchero to be a leader of your team. Okay. I can dig it. Hey man, I can dig that. But we do know. We have seen Giannis win a championship before. Okay. Listen, every star that win it is gonna need a supporting cast. They had it good. They had a solid guard. They got rid of him. Tyus Jones was solid. He ain't gonna. He ain't. You got Anthony Black over there. I mean, he got probably more value than anybody over there. Yeah, you mean that ain't we can't talk about just the point guard. Like we need some leadership over there. We need somebody. We need some leadership with the Orlando Magic. We need. I ain't talking about the general manager. I'm talking about we just switched.
I mean, but they did so far with this coach. Hopefully, that's one part of that piece of that shake up. They're bringing this guy who's been a winning team. Even though Spurs not the one, he's a winning pedigree over there.
Yeah, and he play. He done been to some winning situations. He helped them win in Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it's finna be a lot of moves made now. It's finna be a lot of like this is the time.
Who? Which one? The Boozer?
Yeah, the Spurs need Kyrie.
That won't be fair. You put it over.
Yeah, and that'll be also somebody that Dylan can learn from to be that closer that they need.
So that means Castle's going to the bench. Castle coming off the bench.
Not really, not really.
Oh, well, who? So
No,
what? Kyrie at the 1. Put your Dylan at the 2. And what?
no. That means Champagne got to go to the bench.
Okay, somebody going to be because you got somebody because Castle or Vassal or Champagne, but you can't start. You don't want to start all 3 guards under 6'5".
Why you can't?
You wouldn't want to. That's too small.
First of all, them boys, Dylan Harper 6'6".
Right, but
What's
he's
his
going to
name?
be your.
Castle 6'7".
So he's going to be your 2, right?
Listen. The New York Knicks just started 6'2", 6'4", 6'6", 6'7", and 7 feet.
Yeah, one of I guess would be Champagne. Then he'll have to go.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think they get rid of Kyrie yet, just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I keep equivalating the word closer with San Antonio. That's all they need. And look, and like I said to y'all the other day, it may not be Kyrie. It could be Jamal Murray. It could.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, but that would have been. I think 5 years ago. Yeah, but well, you gonna have to guard somebody, Tori.
Oh, I'll go. I'll just put him. I'll put him on. I would have put him on Bridges or Hart.
I mean, like I said, 5 years ago, I'm with you. Right now, today, I don't think he would have brought him home, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, listen. He's showing you that at the camp against high school players. Wasn't no high school players on that court Saturday night. And hey, listen, I'm the biggest CP3 fan going, man. Listen, man. Man, them young boys out there running fast as hell, boy. Hey, listen. And Big Body Brunson out there willing and dealing, styling and profiling. Hey, man, you don't want to sit out there in front of that. Oh, yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I mean, listen, I just throw out that name. Like I said, it could be Jamal Murray. It could be, you know, who that?
He Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Everything tore his knee up. He ain't been the same.
Yeah, well, that's who that.
Yeah, Boston Wizards. That's it.
Well, how about this? They leverage them. So how about this? We do our NBA draft conversation Thursday night.
All right, that's good.
All right. So do your research and let's chop it up. Let's chop it up about it. We have an hour and a half segment on 2026 draft.
All right, so
All right.
thanks, man. Thanks for coming in. All right, Chuck, the
Yep.
unapologetic